We are unfortunately remote again because this week and this month has been hell, as the people know.
We survived South by though,
We
with
did.
no no broken bones or broken or hurt pride or whatever, I guess.
Anyway, well, we're alive. We read a book. I read this book a while ago. Abigail just finished it, so she is more refreshed with plot points, so I'll let her take the lead on it. But um it's our first non-Christmas Catherine Walsh, correct?
Correct, because we've read Snowed In. That's what it was called.
Yeah.
Where they
And
didn't get
holiday
snowed in.
romance.
Yeah, holiday romance, and they didn't. Yeah, and all Christmas oriented, obviously,
Yeah.
both Christmas
And
oriented.
and we've never covered one on the pod, though we've talked about how much we like her.
Yes, I enjoyed Holiday Romance immensely when I read it last year, and then I did really enjoy Snowden, though I do take issue with the title because it doesn't really work out that way.
I've given up
Um,
on titles of romance novels.
Honestly, same. So, this one, like felt a lot more mature than
I agree.
a lot more restraint, like less shenanigans, and both are I've enjoyed all of her books, so I don't but this one has a lot more restraint to it.
Yeah, I think by nature, a lot of like Christmas romances kind of have to be almost
Mm,
slapsticky to stand out at times. Um, so I wasn't really sure what to expect going into this one, uh, because, like we said, I hadn't read anything by her that
yeah,
wasn't Christmas. Um, but yeah,
definitely far less.
it felt like a nice evolution of like her writing.
I thought so too. I thought it was like you can see her growth as a writer a lot. I thought so our two leads are Sam Avery, who's American, an editor and a big nerd of these books that our female lead's dad wrote, which okay, I looked up how to say her name. A friendly Irish man on YouTube told me Kira. So if that is wrong, I am so sorry, but that is what a friendly Irish man on YouTube told me. So that's what I'm gonna go with. Kira.
I feel fine with that. It's spelled
Okay.
for the people who haven't read the book, it's spelled Ciara. So it could be Kiara, it could be, but we're going with Kira because that's what the
We're going
internet
with
said.
yes, that's what a man in a hat told me on, on YouTube. He was Irish. He taught me to say some other words. But for me, I just needed the one. And that was the only like heavily Irish name in the book. Everybody
Yeah,
else was like Frank,
right.
Maddie, Shane.
Yeah.
So,
I also think that we're supposed to kind of believe that these books are sort of like a Game of Thrones-esque. That's kind of how I was picturing them. Like
ooh,
of that, not like content wise, but more just like there are so many books. The author is this sort of like elusive but larger than life character. I was sort of putting him in the like George R. R. Martin sort of realm.
I was putting him more in Lord of the Rings realm.
Mm,
So, which obviously Lord of the Rings is only the 3 books, and this
yeah,
one had like I think they say like 11 or something,
right.
like a lot more, and it's more of a winding road. So
Yeah,
if you didn't read the book, for the listeners that still support us, uh, Kira's dad has passed away before he could finish his incredibly successful fantasy series, called I'm gonna say Ravian, like the
Ravian is
Ravian,
feels right.
yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, I kind of they're like fantasy adventure adjacent. I don't think Game of Thrones is obviously like an incorrect reading. I felt they felt more like sincere, less salacious than Game of Thrones in a
Yeah,
way.
mine was less like the content of the books and more like the sheer volume of the books and also the fact that he hadn't finished the series yet. So I was just kind of lumping him in that category,
Yes.
like mostly just because of that.
No, that makes sense. Yeah, George R. R. Martin is very much still alive. He's never finishing those books.
No. I
doesn't
can't.
he have
Don't
like
get me started on this. Don't get me started on this.
Okay, well, anyway,
But yeah, so Kira's dad dies, and she is tasked with finishing the last book in this series.
which her
And
dad wanted done.
yes,
Like
yeah, this wasn't like
it
thrust upon her. It was the plan.
Yes, and she is stuck. She is a writer also. She's written her own crime novels under a pen name, and then she got outed and everyone kind of turned on her because her dad is like wildly famous, and that was why she was writing under a pen name. And so she hasn't published anything under her own name, and for many reasons she is very trepidatious about doing this project, but she doesn't want to hand it off to anybody else, and she's got a lot of writer's block, and also like obviously she's grieving her dad. So there's like obviously like rumors like floating around that like somebody's going to finish it, but like for most of the book it's not even like confirmed. Like not even like
That's right.
Sam's coworkers really know what he's doing when he goes to Ireland.
That's right.
So,
This is insane to me that they like send a man to live in Ireland just to finish this fucking book.
well, as they do kind of like keep it is insane. There are so many things lately where I'm like, how does anyone have money to do anything? Existence is so expensive and no one wants to
Yeah.
pay for anything anymore. But they do like make the point throughout this book that this is like the biggest thing this publisher is like ever going to do.
Yeah.
And they've done several like re-releases of the novels. These novels are like incredibly beloved. It would be like I guess if we could go off of fandom too, it would be like if J.K. Rowling wasn't an absolute
Yeah.
monster and there was like another proper Harry Potter coming,
Yeah.
probably. Like that seems to be the level of like fandom we're talking about with
Yeah.
the Ravian series. So now I am like, okay, I guess I understand why they do have the budget to send Sam Avery to
Right.
Ireland in like
Like
small town Ireland.
if you're gonna make millions off of this book, it's worth like a few $1,000s to make sure the book gets finished.
Right. And they also like Kira says I'm doing it for the money because her
Right.
dad has left her his house that is of course falling apart. So she wants to
Just dad things.
just dad things. Uh so at least he had the wherewithal that he knew he was leaving her the house. Right now I've got 7 motorcycles that I will be dealing with in the very near future, which all work, to be so clear.
Yeah.
But 7 is a lot of motorcycles.
Consider this
It
my last will and testament. Abigail gets the dogs. Everything else.
Great.
And my books. You can have my books.
Oh, okay, great.
Yeah.
All right.
You get the dogs and the books. Everyone else can do whatever the fuck they want with the rest of my stuff.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else I want of your things. We don't wear the same shoe size, so
No. You can raid my
yeah.
closet. Honestly, just come take whatever you want and figure out the rest.
Yeah, yeah, I get first dibs. Your
Yeah.
dad can go second.
I don't think he wants anything. Dad gets the stuff that is like family stuff that he's given me, like my dining room table.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Yeah,
I d
return that to him. Everything else, I don't fucking care. You can have all my Sonny's Angels.
Oh, thank God. I was really worried about those.
I
Those
bequeath to you about 600 books, like 30 Sonny's Angels, and 2 dogs.
that is going to be yeah, that is gonna be my undertaking is Katie's books. That's my home
Yeah,
falling apart is what the hell do I
truly.
do with all of these?
Half Price is
Great.
about to get a really nice, a really nice haul.
And I'm gonna get $5 for
Yeah,
all of
for
it.
all 600 books.
It's gonna be great. So, anyway, so yeah, Sam goes to Ireland to help her, finish this book. And because she hasn't been like responding to emails or phone calls, and so he basically has to like show up at her house and be like, "You knew I was coming." He falls into a pit, which is very funny. Is like probably the probably like the one like true shenanigan in this book actually is that as he's like making his way onto the property, he like falls into a pit. This book
Yeah,
felt very nicely grounded in reality. Um,
Totally. We get some, like, goofy side characters that aren't, like, too over the top goofy, just, like, fun townies and friends.
all of
Um,
these people could and do exist in real life.
yeah,
So, which I not that we don't love a shenanigan around here, but do appreciate. So,
completely,
anyway.
yeah. Um, sorry, I was listening to so make tiny little noises. So yeah, she's pretty unhappy when he shows up.
Yeah. She's not thrilled. She doesn't really want to write the book, but she also doesn't not want to.
Yeah.
She's just procrastinating. So they kind of get off on like the wrong foot a little bit where he gets like frustrated with her because she's procrastinating. And at one point he's like, "We can get somebody else to do it." And she goes, "Absolutely not." And after that, they kind of fall into a better understanding where Sam actually is a very good editor and does like the reason he was the one chosen, besides being a good editor, is that like he's obsessed with these books, like has been for a long time. And so that's like how he got his job at the publishing house, we learned later. So, yeah.
Yeah,
Um
so he's like a good like gut check to her for like what the fans kind of want to see versus what he thinks should actually happen and all of that stuff, which is probably a nice perspective for her to have, I imagine.
right, yeah. So once they kind of get more into like a rhythm, and like this is not a super plot heavy book, which is nice
Mm-mm.
too. Like, and also it was like a tight 326 pages. Did not need to be longer. I felt very happy with the amount of time we spent in this book. It all felt
Same.
very reasonable. So, um, and all of it, I still think like Catherine Walsh is like a really great writer, and I did appreciate a lot of the like restraint and simplicity that I think she used. Again, to your point, like Christmas books are always going to be more
Yeah.
zany by nature,
Well, and I
perhaps.
think
And
I think she writes place really well and
mhm.
not just like a town or an area, but like the bar, the house, like little scenes like that. I feel like the way she writes makes it really easy for me to have like a mental image of where we are without it being like too flowery or purple.
I agree. Yeah, I thought I really yeah, I'll talk more about this later, but I also really appreciated the way that she wrote about Kira and her dad. And
Mhm.
yeah, I'll talk about that more later because I have obviously a lot to say about that.
Yeah.
So once they kind of fall into this like good rhythm, you get these like little moments of like obviously they're gonna fall in love, this is a romance. And their real kind of turning point is when it's Sam's birthday and he's kind of at the bar being really lonely and the bar throws him a birthday party, which was really
It's
cute.
really sweet.
Where he like mentions to the bartender like it's my birthday and he goes, "Wait, I shouldn't have said that." And the guy's like, "Too late. Party
Here
time."
we go.
So, and Kira has to come pick him up cuz he's really drunk and she's kind of like, "Why didn't you tell me it was your birthday?" And he is like realizing he really like cares about her and does isn't sure that she feels the same way, and she kind of like brings him back home. He passes out on the couch, wakes up a little later, and she takes him into her dad's office, which she had lied about its existence beforehand,
Yeah.
and found a letter, which this was maybe the like the least realistic thing of the
Yeah.
book, that she found this letter that Sam wrote her dad when he was like 14. Which I believe that Frank, her dad, like read every letter and kept them. I don't believe she would have been able to find it
No.
without like hours of work. Although, you
Yeah.
know what? She does say that they were sorted by year.
Oh,
So
sure. Okay.
so she did have like a filing system to go off of. Okay, so maybe I do believe. I appreciate that tidbit of explanation actually.
Yeah.
So maybe I
It's
take it
still
back.
it's still a lot of work for her to put in, for sure.
It's a lot of work. It was a lot of work, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But at that point they really like I think, come to a good understanding as like friends. Oh, this is also when, of course, he has to move into the house because he has been kicked out of his little room above the pub by a meddling village woman named Mary, who is the silliest
Love
of the
Mary.
side characters. Yeah.
Love Mary.
She's the town gossip and like shows up at Sam's room above the pub and is like, "You have to leave." And he goes, "What? Why? I booked it through the month." And she goes, "Well, month's over. I have someone coming," because she's like the landlord. And he goes, "Who?" And she goes, "Doesn't matter. You have to go." And he's like, "Okay." And there's like nowhere else for him to stay. And so then he obviously has to tell Kira, and she's like, "Just stay here. It's a big
Yeah.
house."
Yeah.
So, not an only one bed situation, but what is, I feel like
Forced
there's another
proximity.
ooh, thank you. I was like
Forced
something
proximity.
domestic.
Yeah.
Thank you. Forced proximity. Uh yes, which obviously does wonders to help their romance blossom.
Well,
And
and as you wrote in our notes, I like the little taste of like domestic life that we get. Like you know, like not a lot of big, as we were saying before we started recording, not a lot of big plot things happen in this book, but I do like these little like daily sort of like we're making coffee, we're having lunch, we're, you know, just normal people
yeah,
stuff.
and she has like severe insomnia, so she like writes through the night and he like edits during the day, and they just like fall into this nice rhythm where we kind of get like, I don't want to say like a time jump necessarily, but there's a point in the book where it's like 3 weeks have gone by of them just
Yeah.
like working on the book together. So yeah, which I don't know. I sometimes like parts of the book I was like, oh, I wish we like maybe got a little more of like them working on the book together. Um, but I also understood that would have, one, meant developing more of this like book that doesn't exist, the Ravian
Yeah.
series, and two, could have gotten tedious very quickly. So like,
Yeah.
so
I feel
again,
like
I'm
if
not,
that had happened, we might have been sitting here complaining like, yeah, and then they're working on the book again. Like, okay, get to the point, you know.
yeah, we get it. You're working on the book. So I don't know, maybe like one, but I do think that we get the moments that we do get are more actually focused on, you know what? They're more focused on like Kira and who she is, where
Mhm.
she says something in the book a couple times where she's like, I feel like all my life I've had to share my dad, this house, like everything with this like series. And actually, yeah, now that I'm saying it out loud, I'm glad we didn't have to talk about the book too much because it's
Mhm.
actually like her story and what she is kind of regaining of herself after her dad's death, which is, you know, her confidence and also like rebuilding her life.
Yeah.
That includes her dad in the series and his legacy, but it's not all about her dad. And she like talks a lot about how, you know, her dad was a good dad, but he was the kind of writer who would like get really lost in his work and would kind of shut himself in the office. And she doesn't say it like bitterly, I don't think, but she says it kind of sadly, where she's like, once they got really popular, like I had to share a lot of my time with him, which is
Yeah,
completely understandable.
she doesn't seem to regret the way that anything happened, but she does she's just very like, yeah, this is just how it was. Like that was just
Yeah.
the reality.
Yeah. And so we do get a very good first kiss scene, which is when Sam tells her that you need to have, hey man, there needs to be some sex scenes in this book. And she's like, "But why?" And he's like, "Cuz it's a love story. Like people want this cuz it's like an adventure series or a fantasy series, but there are the two main characters, Finn and Maeve, who like the series has culminated into them like having a happily ever after. They're like the two main characters kind of thing. I can't think of like, I don't know, like Arwen and what's the guy's name in Lord of the Rings?
Yeah.
That guy, not Orlando Bloom,
Yeah, the
the
other one.
other, Viggo
Yeah.
Mortensen.
Yeah, there's nothing quite equal to this in other fantasy series that aren't romanticities.
Right, yeah, yeah, yeah. So anyway, when he's like, you got to write some sex scenes. She's like, I can't. Like, I don't. How do I even like map this out? Like, I don't understand. Like, I don't think about these things like when I have sex with a person or whatever. And that, like, I don't know where his hands go. And so he helps her and then they
Yeah, he's like,
kiss.
let me show you.
Let me show you. I'll show you where his hands go. It's like a little less suave than that, but it was really cute. And yeah, that's when they have like their first kiss. And I would say this is like a slow burn, but it was like a nice, like, I appreciated that they had their first kiss and didn't like immediately have sex.
Yeah, it
So,
was well paced. It was well paced.
so later when they actually do like hook up is when on one of the like late nights that Kira's awake, she like, and I can't, well, I'll talk about this in a second, but I can't she like looks outside and she's like, I want to go look at the moon and I don't have anyone to look at the moon with. And so she goes and wakes up Sam and they go to the beach and go on a night swim, which makes me so deeply uncomfortable. I do not want to be in the ocean at night. That's not my business, especially not a very cold one. So, uh
Also, if somebody woke me up to be like, let's go look at the moon, I would be like, go fuck yourself. I'm going back to sleep.
well, see, at first he's like, okay, sure, I'll go outside. And then they're like in the car and it's 3 in the morning and she's like, time to get in the water, which is freezing. I'm pissed.
Yeah,
Sorry.
I
I'll
will
go
not be doing that.
outside. I'm
That is
not
not
getting in the
romantic to
water.
me. I will not be doing that.
Okay, and then so then they hook up. It's very romantic. They have
Yeah.
sex, yada yada. However, also all I could think about was like, you guys are sticky and
Yeah.
salty, and you're having sex right now without taking a shower.
Yep.
Anyway, the sex scene itself was good, but questionable. Like,
Yeah, you can't think too hard about what's happening there.
I don't know. She also has short hair, so maybe that also helps the
Yeah,
situation.
that's fair. That's
Um,
fair.
yeah. Anyway, so after that, you know, things keep going well. Except news that the book is happening leaks.
Yeah.
And that is a problem. So they are so one of the side plots that's not super important for the purpose of this podcast is her best friend Maddie is trying to open this cafe on the beach and she's got this rivalry with a burger guy, which is like very funny, but not really pertinent to this podcast at the moment.
Yeah.
But anyway, they're out helping Maddie with her with her problems, and they come back and there's like all of these fans like outside of the property line, which is a thing that's happened to Kira a lot, where people have like snuck onto the property and like tried to enter her house or like did enter her house.
Yeah.
And so she's like, why are they all here? Like, this is so weird. This doesn't happen very like usually it's like stragglers. And come to find out, news has leaked about how the book is happening, which I'm putting on my journalism hat, and this isn't quite how this would go down. But ultimately, what had happened is Sam's sister knew that he was working on this book, like one of two people who knew. And she blabbed about it at like her book club. And then the wife or the husband of somebody at the book club like works for Variety. And when stuff gets leaked, it's like through like TMZ. Like Variety is like a proper like news organization. They would have like confirmed it.
Yeah, and also, like, what a shitty thing to do to your spouse.
Yeah.
Like, if your spouse is like, "My friend told me this," like, and then you're like, "Well, okay, well, that's news, I'm gonna go break it." Like,
Yeah. It's that book
I don't
club
like that.
has fallen apart. That
Yeah.
book club has ended. Womp
Shitty
womp.
thing to do to your friend, shitty thing to do to your brother, shitty thing to do to your friend, shitty thing to do to your spouse. Everyone's the
Yeah.
asshole here.
Everyone is the asshole here. I was really mad at Lizzie. It was very
Yeah.
annoying.
Yeah.
We don't like see a lot of her. She and Sam have a close relationship. I didn't really care for her very much, but it
Yeah.
doesn't really matter.
I would murder my brother if he did this.
Yes, it's like the biggest career thing he's ever worked on.
Yeah.
And Kira is so right when she like finds out that this happened with his sister and she's like she spilled for bragging rights. Like,
At least
yeah.
make it worth your while, like, have TMZ pay you or something. At least get something from it, you know?
Yeah. No,
Don't do
just
it for
bragging
nothing.
at a book club with
Yeah.
some New York
Some wine
ladies.
moms, yeah.
Some wine moms. Ugh,
Yeah.
whatever. Anyway, so before they find out it was Sam's sister who leaked it, they decide to go to Ravian Con. So Sam can like talk about what's happening without saying that Kira's the one writing it. Like he gets added to this panel last minute, and right before, and Kira goes with him, but she's like not appearing on the panel and is just kind of like around. And right before he goes on, she like decides she wants to watch the panel and like walks in on him finding out that his sister is the one who leaked the news and was like, I can't tell Kira, like I'm already what was it? He says something like I'm already doing so much damage control with her, which obviously upsets her. And then he goes on this panel and is like goaded into accidentally revealing that Kira is writing it by this misogynistic fan fiction dude. And so obviously all hell breaks loose at that point.
Yeah, like,
And
he gets understandably, like, flustered and defensive when this guy starts talking shit, and, obviously, this is not a great thing to do, but I definitely see how it happened that way. Like, I'm not thrilled with Sam here, but, like, he's being
oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
protective. Yeah.
Yeah. Cause he's like the fanfiction guy is like insulting Kira and saying something like, like what she should sign over the rights to Rabian to the fans, which is an absolutely insane thing to say and would
Yeah.
never ever ever happen because one, how is that even like I guess you would enter it into like the public domain?
I don't
I
fucking
don't
know.
I don't fucking know, but it doesn't make any sense. And the guy has like not even been dead for like a year, I
Yeah.
don't think. Like he died very recently in the book.
It
And
would be
so
different if it had been, like, years and, like, clearly nothing was happening or whatever, like, then maybe, okay, make this argument if you want to, but it hasn't even been that long.
yeah, like dude's barely cold. Like
Yeah.
let it lie. So
Yeah.
that's when Sam gets understandably protective and is like, "No, she's going to do a great job." And this was a very funny moment when the book where everyone just like freezes and he goes, "What did you just say?" And he's like,
Whoever's
And
writing it is gonna do great, totally. This
and then
genderless being, not she, not anyone you
not
know.
no, I didn't say that. And then the fan fiction guy obviously is like, "Is Kira Sheridan writing it?" And he's just like, uh, I don't and
Poor guy,
then
what a horrible moment. Again, this was
I
not smart
know.
of him to do, but I totally get it. Like, as somebody who is protective of my people and gets flustered like this,
Yeah.
I can see me doing this.
I would have given him more media training before letting him get on this panel. He did not have enough preparation before doing this. I feel like they should have sent a PR person with him. So, oops,
Yeah.
lessons learned. And
Sorry,
so,
the dogs are being annoying, so I've had to get up a few times, and I've decided to get a Diet Coke while I was there.
oh sure, necessary. So Kira is understandably upset because the fans have not historically been very nice to her, and she gets clocked at the panel, and she rushes out, and she basically tells Sam like, "All right, you got to go back to New York." And he was already gonna have to go back to New York, but now she's like, "Don't come with me." And he's like, "Fuck, okay." So he goes to the airport. While he's there, Casey, his boss, calls him, and Casey, the publisher, and Frank were like good buddies. And Casey, one, does not fire Sam, which is good, and is like, I put you on these books for a reason. You do a good job, etc., etc. Frank, like, would have wanted all this and, or, wanted those series to continue and just kind of reassures him. And then Sam is like, I gotta go deal with a personal matter and decides to go meet Kira, like, not go back to New York. However, at the same time, there is a giant storm that has rolling this like fucking broke my heart. I did not
I got so upset reading this.
this really upset me,
Mhm.
and for understandable reasons. But so a big storm has rolled through where they live, Caring West? I don't remember.
I don't
I think
remember
that's the
either.
name of the village. And has knocked down this giant oak tree next to Frank and Kira's house and into both of their offices. And so Kira like arrives home as this storm is blowing through and runs up into the house, which is incredibly dangerous, and is trying to save her dad's things. And then Sam appears and is like, "What the hell are you doing?" and rescues her before she like falls out of the window or the hole
Yeah.
in the wall.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's obviously incredibly devastating. And like, because a bunch of his things are lost, literally like blown out by the storm. And yeah, pretty terrible. But Sam is there to rescue her, and they make up and go stay in the room above the pub for a few days while they decide what to do, or while Kira decides like what the hell to do before she can like get back into the house.
No one's staying above the pub. Mary, you fucking
Yeah.
liar.
Oh yeah, because they show up at the pub and Sam's like, "I thought you had a tenant," or like at some point in the book, he's like, "I thought you had a tenant," and then he goes, "No, I don't. Who told you that?" And he goes, "Mary," and he goes, "Oh yeah, we did that, yeah." So they were
Meddlers.
meddling, yeah,
Meddlers.
meddlers. And so after like a few days, Kira's like, "What the hell do I do? Like, one, my house has a giant hole in it. Two, I don't even know if I really want to live there anyway. Three, it's going to cost a bunch of money to repair. Four, I still got to finish this book." Um, and yeah, so what ultimately ends up happening through several conversations. Um, one, Maddie is leaving to go to Dublin to run this cafe. So she's already like, well, fuck, my best friend is leaving. And while they go, oh, Sam asked her to go to New York with him. And she's like, let me think it over. And he said, okay, sounds good. I just want you to think about it, which is very nice of him. He doesn't like pressure her. He's like, I want you to come with me. I'm in love with you. Come to New York. And she's like, I'm in love with you too, but hold on. Uh, Give me a second to think about it. He's like, yeah, okay, okay. And there's this scene at the end of the book where they go and visit Frank's grave, and Kira like introduces Frank to Sam, and that woof. But while they're at the grave, they get a call from Casey, who is like, "Hey, fans like want to pitch in to help restore the house." And Kira's like, "Oh, well, okay, that's nice of them." And she goes, "Well, how many?" And he goes, 12. And she's like, "Oh, okay, 12,000." And she's like, "What?" Uh, and he's like, "Yeah, we've raised like they've raised like $2 million or something crazy like that." And she's like,
Yeah, they start essentially like a GoFundMe or whatever to
"Right."
like, yeah.
And one of the fans has like written an open letter like on behalf of all of them, and they are like, "Hey, like we are so happy that you are continuing the series. We want to help preserve Frank's legacy and help like rebuild the house. Like obviously it's going to be incredibly expensive." And Casey is like, "They are pitching that you turn it into a museum and a writer's retreat." And she's kind of like, "Wait, I don't know." And he's like, "No, hear him out. Like, it's actually a pretty good idea." And she's like, she hangs up the phone, and Sam is like, "Okay, you can take him in." And she goes, "I'm going to do it." And he goes, "Oh, okay." And so, yeah.
Well, throughout the book too, she also we kind of get her kind of struggling with this like, you know, I love this house, I want to be in this house, but I also don't want to be in this house, but also I want to be in this house. And so this kind of solves
Yes.
that problem for her.
Yes, exactly. It like allows the house to stay with her in a
Yeah.
lot of ways without having to actually like physically be there all the time, because the house is a big stressor because it's falling apart. And yeah, she just misses her dad,
Yeah.
obviously. So anyway, so yeah, that takes the choice out of it. And she also like said something too about the storm being a little bit of a relief where she didn't have to make the decisions of like what to do with his things or some of
Right.
his things because they blew away. um which yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
So anyway, she moves to New York with Sam. She finishes the book. We pick up in an epilogue 18 months later where the book is like about to come out and Sam is going to propose. The end.
I
Everything's
really
great.
like these sorts of epilogues, which I think we said even last episode, maybe. Yeah, I like the I like the epilogues that aren't like they're married with kids. I like the epilogues that are like they're still together and there's more life to live. Like it's not.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes. I'm trying. Oh, Abby Jimenez kind of does a they're married with kids
yeah,
occasionally. Not all the time, but like occasionally.
yeah,
And I do like a slight fast forward. Although a lot of times these are he's got a ring in his pocket, which is exactly what happened in and now back to you. Is
yeah.
like they're out and about and he's got a ring in his pocket. Like, okay, we can talk about it in a different way that he's gonna propose. Or they
Right.
could be engaged. Like, I don't know.
They could be engaged. They could be ring shopping. They could be. We could find another stage of this rather than the proposal is going to happen today, right now.
Yeah. Yes, or even like Sam says like in the book that he's been carrying it around for a couple days, which I'm like, one, stressful. Why are you doing that? And two, yeah, again, I don't know. This is the one cliche maybe I'm over, but that's fine.
Yeah.
It's like a very very small portion.
Yeah, I still would
Um
rather have this than like they're married, they have kids, da, 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 da. Or they're
yes,
married and she just found out she's pregnant or whatever.
yeah. Um okay, Dead Dad book. Um
I warned you.
No, no, no. I one. I mean, you can't immediately. You know, it's like a dead dad book.
Right.
It's not like a
Yeah. It's not
surprise.
a surprise.
So
Yeah.
no, the whole plot hinges on there being a dead dad.
Yeah.
So we've talked a little bit about how I was reading a lot of like grief adjacent romances, especially like over the holidays, and there this was a really healing. I don't even know if I want to say like healing, but at least one I related to a lot.
Mm.
Where one of the things that I've thought a lot about since my dad passed away, and as I mentioned earlier, and I'm going through this process of where I am like next of kin, and my dad wasn't legally married, but luckily we are, and gratefully we are on great terms with my stepmom, and they had been together for a long time, but it just means things are more complicated. And so I'm having to make a lot of decisions. And, also, again, luckily we love each other all very much and are collectively making some of these decisions. But, like right after my dad died, I was having to make decisions like very, very quickly. And like the funeral home calling me 8 minutes after I found out my dad died and asking me like what I wanted to do, if I wanted him cremated or what, like that. I still cannot believe that happened to me. But of course, like it happened to me.
Yeah.
um, and having to be in that position where Kira thinks a lot about, I don't know, like what he would have wanted. And she's undertaking this monumental task of knowing that he trusted her to finish the series, but she's kind of just got like an outline. She doesn't
Mm.
have necessarily like he hadn't started writing the book yet. He had his outline, he had like the ending kind of plotted out, but not necessarily how to get there. And it is really hard to be in these moments where somebody who was such a confidant and you are having to take on their legacy and what they hope, you know. Luckily he had a will. And my dad was not obviously like a best-selling author, but I am making decisions about his things and how he wants to be remembered and how I talk about him. And that stuff like, weighs on you in the way that, I talk about my dad, how I want other people to know that how I remember him, how I like represent his legacy as his oldest daughter. And I really I feel really blessed and grateful that I feel very confident in a lot of the decisions that we're making around my dad. But I'm also like at the stage of life where like I might make like some big like career decisions soon or something, or like I'm rethinking a lot of things and I don't have my dad to talk to. And at one point after everything kind of comes out, and Kira's like standing outside the convention center and she's like, I want to go home. I don't want to be doing this. And she just says something like, and I want my dad. I want my dad so bad it hurts. And yeah, I want my dad. This fucking sucks. Like, I want my dad. I want to call my dad and I want to go home and see my dad. And I can't. And neither can she. And that is just like the reality of it. And you can't do anything about it. You can go and be in his space and you can be with him in a lot of ways. I was like laying in bed last night and just like thinking about my dad and like hearing his voice like so clearly and like I don't know. I feel like when I'm like really grieving, this is like the space I've gone into of just I kind of like envision myself as like this little like baby deer like in this little like hovel. I've kind of explained my grief as being like this really big dark forest, and then when I'm in the nice parts of my grief, I'm like where I'm like remembering my dad and thinking about my dad and loving my dad. I'm like in hiding in my little tree trunk and it's really like cozy in there. And it's like sad. I'm still in the forest, but it's like comforting. And yeah, I just like there's another scene too where Kira goes into his office and my dad has a room like this at his house where we call it the lounge and it's all of his things, all of his like trinkets. Oftentimes it was a converted garage, so oftentimes there was a motorcycle parked in there. And it's where he would go and sit and listen to music. And I go in there when I'm home and like just kind of be with him. Like it smells like him, it smells like his leathers, and it smells like chewing tobacco. And I just kind of like, we've made it to where it's a place where we can like sit and be with dad. And like my dad doesn't have a grave site. So like that's where right now we like sit and be with him. And at one point, Kira goes into his office where she doesn't like go very often, and she finds this box of her stuff, including every drawing that she ever like made him. And my dad did that. He kept every single drawing that Hannah and I ever made him. Hannah's an artist. I'm not. I can't draw. um, but he kept every single one and he called it the art box. And it was this giant tub of drawings that we did growing up. And he was really particular about it and that we could go through he would go through it with us every so often, but everything had to stay in order. It was in layers, like sedimentary rock, and we had to keep it all in order.
Like
And
chronologically?
yeah.
Mm.
And so the art box was really special to him. I don't know why for me, because again, I can't really draw, but for Hannah, and then when I was going through his things too, finding like newspaper clippings of like stuff I had written and like that it hurts so much when you like find that stuff and knowing that like he kept those things and thought of those things. But I don't know. Yeah, that I didn't cry reading this book, but that really got me when she found basically her dad's art box
Mm.
because I was like, fuck, my dad has an art box. And
Yeah.
it's in storage. Like we have it. It's in storage, I think. And it's like in a big tub, so it's protected. But
Nice.
just yeah, I appreciate that Kira in this book too is at this place where she's like okay, but not, which is a place that
Mhm.
I feel I'm in right now where I am obviously still grieving and I will grieve my entire life. And that's like a weird thing to think about too, is that this never ends. You will always grieve. But you're still like capable of doing things
Mhm.
and you just exist through it. And so I think like, I don't know if Catherine Walsh has like lost a parent or somebody equally close to her, but this was, I felt like a really good representation of like, you kind of look around and you're like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing, but I'm moving through it as best as I can as like a capable person. And then yeah, Kira and I felt very similar to her in the way that she's grieving her dad and the way I'm grieving my dad. And yeah, these books have really helped me in a lot of ways too.
Yeah.
I haven't really done a whole like grief manual read or anything like that. I don't know if I'm ready for that in some ways of like confronting it that way. I'm in therapy, everyone, don't worry. But
I also can,
um
knowing you, I can kind of envision how that type of book might piss you off.
it's a lot of like, like and like these are great for people. Like there are some like platitudes and things like that that I guess like work on me or whatever, but like
Mhm.
I think I said on this podcast, the thing that really got me and Hannah going was occasionally people being like, "Oh, I can't imagine." It's like, well, this will happen to you, and yes, you can imagine. It sucks.
Mhm.
Everyone will lose a parent. You might not be close to your parent, but like, there, you will lose somebody, and you can't imagine it, and it sucks.
Yeah.
It's awful. And yeah, I was just reading this really oh god, it was awful. I was reading this feature in New York Magazine about the Camp Mystic girls
Ugh,
and
yeah.
yeah, oh, it's tough. But in it the writer talks and I can't remember the writer's name, so I apologize, but she says something like the parents or like they get the platitudes of like we can't imagine and then she says like we do and we can like we can imagine other people's pain and doing this and of course like I've talked about this with another friend who lost her dad and she's like people say that cuz like they don't want to say I understand because they don't at that point. And so the other default is I can't imagine, but you can and you do.
Well, and I
And
I
so
think I think also a lot of what people mean when they say I can't imagine is saying like I can only imagine how you're feeling. Like the only thing I can do
yes,
is imagine how you're feeling. I can't understand how you're feeling, but I can imagine it and it feels unfathomable to even try
to
to do
me.
so. Therefore, I can't. It's sort of like I think it's one of those things that uh we've just kind of lost the meaning of a little
Exactly.
bit. Yeah.
Yeah. And cliches and things like they do have purpose because there is, you want to express your sympathy for somebody without and I don't know, we don't know how to talk about death. We don't really like know how to talk about grief in a lot of ways. I did think, and this like semi like triggered me, but I did think it was very nice. In the letter that the person writes on behalf of all the fans, um, it says in the last paragraph, when we heard the news of the house, we knew that we wanted to do something to honor your father and all that he's given to us, which is incredible, lovely. We cannot imagine what you are going through, and we won't try to, but if we may, we would like to share a proposal, which you can read in full below. And that like introduces like how they want to help. And I think, and we won't try to, it's complicated because I don't want people to be like, I know exactly what you're going through. And I'm like,
Right.
well, you don't. But like, I do want you
Well,
to imagine it. I want you to try to like understand too. It's
and I
just,
also think there's a difference between people saying like I can't imagine what you're going through and I can't imagine how you're feeling right now cuz like they can't you can
mm,
try to imagine what you're going through because like you're saying it will happen to us. But maybe the intention is them saying I can only like I can't presume to know how you personally as Abigail the individual are feeling right now. Um but yeah, I think like I said, I think it's just a statement that's kind of
lost its meaning.
the thing that
And
people say because it's what you're supposed to say, you know?
yeah, exactly, and I can't blame people all
Yeah.
the time, like, like, I get it, and, it is, like some of it is, like, learning to let go of some of my prickliness sometimes, not that I've ever been outright rude to somebody, but also, like, you know, just being open, I guess, about, like, how I do feel in losing my dad, and, um yeah, sometimes that's not always, like, super palatable to everybody, but, like, I don't know, I don't really give a shit when it's not
Yeah.
palatable to somebody. This is my thing I'm going through, and you know what? If you like dealing with me helps you deal with somebody else later on, then, like, that's great too. I don't know, like, it
Yeah, I
is what it
mean,
is.
that's one thing I've thought about a lot, like, watching you go through this is that I feel, unfortunately, it does help the rest of us prepare for moments like this, and it fucking sucks that you're the one that has to do it first, but I think it's like I took I can't remember who I told this to, might have been my psychiatrist, because I only see her like every 3 to 6 months or whatever. So when I saw her last, I was like, "Yo,
That was like
it's
me going to my hair appointment a couple weeks ago where I was like,
yeah,
"Guess what? My dad
yeah."
died."
That
And her
that
being
was like
like,
my hair
"What?"
appointment after I got divorced, and my hair lady was
Yeah.
like, "I got engaged," and I was like, "Sick."
Guess what? I got divorced.
But what I told my psychiatrist was that in a way, and again, not that these are the same things, but I think grief is grief at the end of the day. Like, me going through my divorce and how you showed up for me during my divorce helped me then therefore, like, know how to show up for you a little better, and then maybe that will help you then show up for me or someone else in the next thing, and it kind of just watching your friends go through hard shit helps you know not only how to deal with hard shit in your own life, but how to help them through hard shit, hopefully. And like,
Right.
if there's a point to any of it, maybe it's that, is that you learn how to love the people around you a little better, or you learn what not to do, or whatever, you know?
Right. And none of us like do it perfectly
Right.
every time or in every moment of the time or whatever. It is like, it's all a learning. I mean, like you and I have had hard conversations while you were going through your divorce and my debt of like how we could better like show up for each other and whatnot. And like,
Yeah.
like that's just like the natural progression and a necessary thing of existing alongside people you love and care about is how am I showing up for you? How do you need me to show up for you? What am I doing right? Where did I maybe fall short? What do you need? Kind of
Yeah.
thing. And, that's
And
obviously, that was a big learning thing for me. And I would assume for you as well. So,
totally. Yeah, totally. Totally. And I think it it not only prepares us both for whatever the next thing one of us is going to go through, which please nothing for a little while. um but like I have never like lost anybody super close to me. Obviously I've known people who have died, people I went to school with, family members, like, but no one that has whose death has really like disrupted my life in a major way, like my day-to-day life. And I also think like it was a huge, like, to your point, it was a huge learning opportunity for me, like, to know to try to know better what to do when this happens either to me or someone else, like, around me, um, because, yeah, I think we both showed up well for each other, and there were ways that we both fell short through both of our individual crises, and also us having those conversations about like, here's what's really helpful for me and here's what's not. Like, all of that is a learning opportunity, and helps us be better friends to each other, better friends to the other people in our lives, better, nicer to ourselves, like all of those things. And it's also just really important because I feel like we've also really seen how you and I deal with things differently in the last 2 years, and being like, "Okay, what I want when I'm going through something is not the same as what Abigail wants when she's going through something, and I should not presume that because this is how I would want something to happen, that that's how she wants it to happen." Which feels like a very, like, duh thing when you say it out loud, but we're so similar in so many ways that it's sometimes easy to forget some of our like core differences. And I think the way we process things emotionally is a huge difference between the two of us.
ooh, I want to ask more questions about that later. But like, I know you're completely right. I think
Yeah.
it's just like, you know, uh I was going through like a secondary, well, what did not feel like a secondary crisis like while you were going through your divorce,
Right.
which was like about my stepdad, which hey, everyone knows now, he was on the podcast. Which is actually like, man, what a relief.
Yeah.
Everyone can know about him fleeing the country because he was a
Right.
felon.
Right.
After he like stole money from me and a bunch of other people. So like, whatever. Anyway, but like, and all of us were like in crisis at the time. And so it was
Yeah.
like what was it that Monica didn't, and we were describing ourselves as like the three-legged stool for a time
Yeah.
of like
There's
whoever,
four of us, but only three of the legs are
only
working at
three
any
legs
time.
work.
Yeah.
And so we were just trading off who's the shorter leg. And
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I mean, like all of that stuff was, again, like I would never like say that we all like did it perfectly for what, because no, of course not. You're never gonna do it perfectly. And it is
Right.
just like in, and also like, the my dad didn't die to like teach me a lesson or anything like that,
Right. Right.
that was the lymphoma, potentially, who's to say. But like
But
to
yeah, it doesn't mean there aren't, you know,
no, of
things you
course
can
not.
take
This is
away
just
for it
like,
from it,
yeah,
certainly.
this is just like life, and I am like
Yeah.
learning who I am as a person. Hannah and I talk about this a lot, my sister, of like we are like new people and we're like getting to know the new version of us. And like while I do feel, like I do feel like a lot of the ways I've dealt with this is very true to who I am as a person, or like is similar to the way I've dealt with other like crises in my life. Um this is also like a new version, and also a version I think has like been much kinder to myself.
Yeah.
Um and
Well, and
like,
I think that might be the major thing that we share in common about what we've both been through over the last couple of years is that I am not the same person I was 2 years ago. I think you and I both know that.
no, yeah.
And you aren't the same person that you were 6 months ago or whatever. And it's also like us relearning each other, which I think has also been like a huge journey for us to go on
It's
because
weird.
we had been friends for what, like 6 years or something before our respective crises. And so it's like, you feel like you know everything there is to know about a person, and then their entire world flips around and you're like, "Okay, this is still the same person, but also not." Like I got to sit down and take notes of like how things are changing. And one of the things that I was thinking about a lot this morning, actually, because I was watching the Jesse Draper Call Her Daddy
Oh,
episode.
I'm so excited to listen later. God.
Well, one of the interesting things that she mentions is there's a scene in Secret Lives of Mormon Wives when she's with her entire family and she's talking about, I think it's last season, season 3, and she's talking about how things are a struggle in her marriage and whatever. And her sister or someone is like, "You haven't been Jesse in a really long time." And it reminded me of when I was home for Christmas, which obviously I went home for Christmas right after I got divorced, but like you came with me, and I was still really raw and not ready to talk about everything that had happened, and you and Austin kind of helped provide a nice little distraction because I was like, "Look, friends, ask them
Well, look.
about their lives. Don't ask me about mine."
Oh yeah, they got
Um,
to be like, "What's Abigail doing here?" And I get to be
yeah.
like, "Well, guess
Abigail got
what?"
to be a bit of a circus sideshow, took the fell on the sword for that one, which I
Yeah.
appreciate.
Yeah.
Um,
I didn't mind. I don't mind being a sideshow with a purpose occasionally. Just
exactly,
when
exactly.
there's when the purpose is gossip, I don't love it.
Yeah,
But
it
this
was
one was purposeful.
yeah, we had predetermined that we were going to
Yeah,
use Abigail's crisis as a
it was
distraction.
fine. Yeah.
Um, but after I came home for Christmas this past year, which was, more than a full year after I got divorced, um, my cousin who's 25 was like, "We feel like we have Katie back." And
Mhm.
I was thinking about that this morning, and I was thinking about just now when we were talking, like, you didn't know that version of me, like you never
Mm-mm.
met her. And
Mm-mm.
so like in some ways, like, yes, I do feel like I'm returning to myself, but I'm also some new version of it. um that a lot of people in my life had never like gotten to meet because they met me when I was married or with my ex or whatever. Um and yeah, I don't really have like a thesis statement to that. I just think it's really interesting, and what a treat it is to have friendships that last so long that we get to know multiple versions of each other for better or for worse.
It's very, yeah, it's very strange, and that is like, I like literally, like I said earlier in this podcast, like I felt like sometimes like being the youngest, like I had this sense of like immortality, and I think it's really easy to think of yourself as a static person and that you're not going to go through big personality changes or big but it is weird to, like again, it's very weird to think like, oh, I am a different person than I was like 6 months ago. And I know exactly why going
Mhm.
through this loss. But I'm also a different person than I was 2 years ago, and
Yeah.
a lot of those like core things are still the same. Probably like I don't know. I would maybe you feel the same way. There are core things about you that have stayed pretty steady, but like there's also like ups and downs within those core things, and
Yeah.
it's just this weird evolution of like being a human
Mhm.
and
And
how
and just aging in general and just kinda giving fewer fucks as you get older.
yeah, this I don't know, turning 29 has really like kind of thrown me for a loop. But Austin said a couple days ago, which is not like a new thought. I think he said it before, or somebody else was like 29 is so old and 30 is so young.
Yeah.
Like when I turn 30, it's going to be great. But right now I feel a million, and
Yeah, yeah. I felt very much the same way, and then when I actually turned 30, I was like, "Alright, whatever. I'm in my
a
30s.
new decade.
Have
Cool.
fun." Yeah, exactly.
It is weird
Um,
looking around and being like, "Oh yeah, I'm like a proper adult." Like, who let me do that? Like, what do
yeah,
you
I
mean?
turn I turned 35 this year, and that feels so much older than 34 in a way that I don't know how I'm gonna feel about it when it happens.
Yeah, that's fair. I knew this birthday was gonna be hard because obviously it's
Mhm.
first birthday, like, without my dad, and there are lots of other things that are going on alongside that too, but 29 so far, oh, I am a month and 5 days into it, uh,
So
and
far,
it's
so
weird.
good.
So
So far
far so far so good, question mark? I'm hanging in
I feel
there,
like this month
everything's
is a bad one to judge off of.
I don't know. Look, I am like I am living my life as best as I possibly can, and I have built a life around me that I feel very proud of, and I know my dad would be proud of, and I am very lucky and grateful and all of that. And this also fucking sucks. I can say both things.
Yeah.
I miss my dad every single minute of every day, and I texted my family group chat with my stepmom and sister and my stepsisters and was like, "Man, I wish I could complain to dad about these gas prices." And cuz I know he's like he would be so pissed right now. So, but yeah, that's just I don't know how I can keep honoring his like legacy. He doesn't have a multi-volume fantasy series, but he did tell me once that he wanted me to remember how funny he was, and I do every day. So, I got that going for me.
I feel like, at least in our friend group, that's probably the thing that people remember the most about the time that we spent with your dad.
I think so too, and that he really loved me.
Yep,
And so that's I think he would be pretty happy with that.
I think
So,
so too.
on that note,
Um, on that note, what are you reading right now, or what are you reading next, or what's on the Abigail's making a face? Nothing yet.
oh, I finished this book this morning.
Yeah, so nothing
So,
yet. What are you taking with you
nothing
to
yet.
Kansas City as we watch your sister get
Oh,
married this
I
weekend?
know. That's a great question too. What am I taking to Kansas City this weekend? I want a fun one. Let me take a peek on my bookshelf. Uh,
I see your Labubu.
oh yeah, she's hanging there. Look, she are Labubu's genderless?
Whatever your heart desires.
They, them? Uh, let's see. I could take. Let's see. Maybe I'm feeling a family drama.
Ooh, what
This
are you
is
holding?
from. So this is a book of the month. I think I got as an add-on for my birthday. Because I think I got it in my last box. Uh,
It's
this
got a
is from
fish on it.
Grant. It's got a fish on it. It is a very beautiful cover.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
really nice.
that's a dead fish though.
Oop,
He's upside down.
oop, you're
uh,
right.
but Grant Ginder, who wrote The People We Hate at the Wedding, which got turned into a movie that I did not enjoy, but I Katie, did you read
Sure.
the book?
Nope.
All right. Well, uh, this is like six friends, five parties over 20 years, and it's called So Old, So Young, which maybe this would just make me feel my mortality even more. Um,
Or maybe it would help.
but,
Who's to say?
or maybe it would help. I don't know. I need Jennifer E. Smith to come out with another book because I need a good, like, bruising family drama from that
Yeah.
gal. Ugh, I love her. And I didn't even realize that we are not getting an Emily Henry this year until like a month ago.
Well, what a
So,
great segue because the new
yeah.
Abby Jimenez book came out yesterday as we're recording this.
Book.
Yep.
Okay, maybe that's what I'm doing. I don't know. TBD. I haven't looked at the description.
It
Uh,
is the second in the Say You'll Remember Me series. We could do it as our next episode.
oh, we should. We'll do it as our
Okay.
next episode.
I was
Good
gonna make my
idea.
I was gonna make my pitch and you set me up
We
perfectly.
well, this we'll have Abby, and then we'll have Sarah Adler, if not directly after, very soon after.
And then Ashley
So
Poston.
yeah, we're entering our peak season for this
We are.
podcast. So
We are.
yeah, twist my arm. I guess we'll do Abby, and
There
I'll
is
just
a quote unquote
dissolve.
slightly unhinged rescue Yorkie in this book.
Excellent. I do need
And
a
it's
good
on the
dog.
cover and it looks pretty cute.
Okay. Man,
I
my
think I'm
head has been
gonna
in the sand. I did
Yeah,
not
I
know this
think I'm
happened.
gonna go. Well, I in my head, the book was coming out in April, and then I saw Abby posted something from the airport signing books. So I think I'm just gonna buy this book at the airport on like I have the arc obviously, but also obviously I want to own it. Um,
Mhm.
so I think I'm gonna buy it at the airport on Saturday. You know I love to buy an airport book.
I know you do. I have a Book People gift card that, maybe I should cash in on. Thanks, Campbell. Um,
Yeah.
to, oh, look, and special edition Nadia cakes. Austin, if you're listening, you wanna buy us Nadia cakes again.
Awesome. That was so fun.
Austin,
That
that
was
was
so
really fun.
Abigail's dad died. Buy us
Buy us
cupcakes.
Austin's like, "These bitches, no." What else do you
As he's
need?
pulling out his credit card.
I
It's like,
know, he
fuck these
would.
girls.
He's just like, but he did get some of the cupcakes last time, so,
That's true.
you
They were
know.
so good.
The special edition ones are matcha lavender, which actually he's in a matcha lavender phase. Fun fact about my husband. So,
I'm pretty much always in a matcha lavender phase. So I'm in.
yeah, you like lavender more than I do as a flavor,
I
but
do.
I
I do.
um I would definitely eat these. Oh God, I want a cupcake so bad right now. Anyway,
I'm going to Estee tonight for dinner, which I'm thrilled about.
I think Monica and I were supposed to work out very early this morning, then we both texted each other being like, "Never mind."
No
So,
thanks.
I think we're going to later and then going to radio, but
Nice.
no cupcakes
Um,
there.
I am reading a book that I think I recommend, but it's a little early yet. It's The Other Side of Now by Paige Harbison, which was a book of the month at some point last year. Um, that I have a physical copy of, but I've been listening to the audiobook just because I needed a new audiobook. And it's a magical realism book, so it's like right up my alley. This famous actress who's on like sort of a soapy TV show uh kind of gets catapulted into an alternate dimension um where what like one of the defining things in her life is that her best friend died, and in this new universe her best friend is still alive, and so I'm still early in the book and it's like adjusting. She's like adjusting to like what's happening. I think I'm like 2 hours in and it's like a 10-hour audiobook or something. Um so it's a little early for me to say that I like recommend it, but I have found myself going out of my way to like listen to it and pick it up cuz I'm just like really curious uh what's happening because her apparently in this alternate reality she and her best friend are beefing and like don't really talk. Yeah.
Okay.
So maybe this is like a family drama, family-ish drama, friendship drama, uh, that because it sounds kinda heavy, but it's actually a really light read.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, it does feel really bold of me to be like, I want a family drama before we go to my sister's wedding. So
Yeah.
maybe I take that back. I
Yeah.
don't want that.
Well,
Uh,
I have a physical copy of this book, so if you want it, I can bring it all the way to Kansas City for you, or you can pick it up before we go. But um, I'm like excited for the time on the plane to listen to it because I've been really enjoying it.
oh, well, excellent. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll probably pick up new Abby and I don't know, something else maybe. I'm also like, I don't think I'm gonna have much time to read in Kansas City because I'm gonna be running around doing wedding stuff. So who's to
Right.
say?
This might just be a pack my Kindle and read before bed kind of trip for
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. So, but anyway, yeah, I guess on that note, we will be doing The Night We Met by Abby Jimenez next episode. So,
Very excited about that.
yeah, get your Nadia Cakes orders in.
Yep.
And yeah,
Austin.
so Austin.
All right, we'll see y'all next time. As you're listening to this, Abigail is in Kansas City and I will imminently be on my way. So
Yay! Send
send
best wishes to Hannah
yes. Yes.
and uh and good luck to me,
Yes.
perhaps.
Yes.
I don't know. It's
I
gonna be
I
great. It's
just
gonna
get
be
to be
great.
a guest. I just get to show
Yeah.
up, which I'm pretty it's been a while since I've had a wedding that I just got to be a guest at, so I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, I have jobs.
Yeah.
But that's okay. That's to be expected. I made Hannah and Katie do jobs for me at my
Yeah.
wedding,
It's
obviously.
yeah.
So,
Yep.
it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great.
If I'm given a job, I will accept it happily, but I will also be happy if I don't have a
If
job.
there's no job,
Yeah.
yeah. Your job is to be fun at the bachelorette party.
I am
So,
great on a dance floor.
great. You're
So
hired.
I'm ready. I'm ready. Phil is a little bit dreading the going to the club, and I was like, "You don't have to stay very long. Like, you can go home if you
Whatever.
want."
Whatever. It's 70s
Yeah,
themed. Come
exactly.
on.
We've been joking about buying him an afro,
It could work.
like a Bob
You have
Ross
time. Yeah.
style. Yeah.
I don't know what I'm wearing yet. Anyway, but
Yes.
we'll
So
be
we'll
back
see
with
y'all on the other
updates.
side. I'm sure we'll have wedding stories to share when we record
Hannah
next.
will be married.
She will be
Yay.
married. Yep.
Married. Yay.
Married. All right. Bye, y'all.
Bye.